my name's Leo. I'm the co-founder of the platform Prizeo.com, who hosted Georgia's amazing fundraiser earlier this year to benefit two amazing non-profits, the Food Depot of Santa Fe and the Wild Spirit Wolf Sanctuary. An amazing amount of money was raised, around $502,000, split between a few charities, but mainly the two that are in attendance tonight and will be receiving their giant novelty checks. So thank you so much to both of these non-profits for coming down, and Leyton for bringing Flurry, the amazing Arctic Bull. Glad I got that right. For not only raising such an amazing amount of money for these non-profits, but also for being such an amazing sport throughout the whole campaign. He was an absolute delight to work with and always coming up with crazy, amazing ideas to squeeze the last dime out of the fans. One of my very favorites, of course, being, as I'm sure many of you saw in the press, because it got the most wild amount of media attention, was offering to kill off someone who pays $20,000, donates $20,000 to the charity in the upcoming novel. We tried to limit it to 2, I think, but because people were so quick, 3 slipped through the cracks. So 3 people will be meeting a grisly fate in the upcoming novel. But yeah, I will hand over the stage to George, who will explain a bit about why himself and Parris chose these 2 amazing non-profits to be the beneficiaries of his campaign.
Thank you, Leo, and I want to thank you and your amazing crew from Prizeo, who have not only run this charity drive, but many, many other charity drives. If you go to your website, you'll see you have half a dozen drives going on at every time for all sorts of worthy charities, hosted by various different celebrities, authors, athletes, rock stars, movie stars, television stars, all sorts of interesting people donating interesting things, and I'm very flattered to have been included in their company. I was a little nervous about it at first, saying, well, I don't know, you've had people like Kobe Bryant and Justin Bieber doing things. Who's going to donate for one for me? But God damn. So I really have to thank my fans for that. They're the ones who gave all this money. My fans and my readers, they're some of the most amazing people in the world. A basic donation didn't get you any prizes except a ticket for the grand prize, but that was a $10 donation, I believe, was the basic, and we got an amazing number of people who gave a $10 donation, in addition to people who paid $20,000 to die horribly in my books. I'm working on those right now. I'm in correspondence with the 3 prize winners who get to die. I'm working out, who they're going to be. Do they want to be in the Night's Watch, or they want to be a knight or a lady or whatever? So they get to pick that, and I'll kind of, disguise them a little and work out a mode of death. One of the winners wrote me and said, "You can kill me any way you want. I don't care how I die, but don't do anything to my penis." So I'll have to refrain from cutting off his penis before I kill him. We also had people who paid $10,000 for my old hat. I had to buy a new hat. They paid, I don't know, quite a sum of money for my suspenders. $1,000. And I did have to draw the line somewhere. Despite Leo's best efforts to persuade me, I refused to sell any locks of my hair or clippings from my beard, which evidently people were interested in buying. It's a strange world out there. But yeah, my fans were great. A lot of them, of course, got signed maps. They got signed books. They got things like that, and it was a delight to give them to them. And I hope they get some joy. And we will shortly be joined by the winners who won the grand prize, which is they're coming in, and we're going to have dinner together tonight and talk, and then breakfast tomorrow, and then we go to Santa Fe Airport and we get a helicopter ride down to the Wolf Sanctuary, where we'll get to meet the Westeros Pack and some of the other folks down at Wild Spirit. So, Leo asked the question of why these two charities. A large part of why these two charities, out of all the charities in the world, and there are so many worthwhile charities in the world, non-profits, it's actually hard because you kind of wish you could help all of them, but that's hard to do. But Parris and I have had a long relationship with two of them, and let me bring up my wife Parris to talk a little about how we first got involved with the Food Depot here in Santa Fe and with the Wild Spirit Wolf Sanctuary, both of whom we've been supporting for years.
Thanks for coming, folks. We started donating to what is now known as the Food Depot back probably in the early 1990s. And at the beginning, it was just a couple spare bags of groceries and maybe a Christmas check for $50. But we were doing a little bit. We knew that there was one person out there who had a couple of good meals because of us. And George came from a working class family. I worked many years at minimum wage jobs in bookstores and as a waitress, and so I know what it's like. We both know what it's like to scramble to pay all the bills and put food on the table. And New Mexico has one of the highest rates of food poverty in our nation, particularly among our children. And I think it goes against my very moral being to know that children are trying to go to school and they're hungry. And so this opportunity that was created by Prizeo and our fans to help the kids in New Mexico get a few decent meals really is a wonderful gift. And we thank our fans and Prizeo and the Food Depot. These folks have worked for decades to make life better for senior citizens, for people with terminal diseases, for the Boys and Girls Club, for every kind of organization that helps our communities thrive and not just survive. So thank you so much for all you folks who work at the Food Depot.
We bring them up here and let them say a word and give them their So we have someone from the Food Depot to talk to us here. And we have a giant check for you.
The bigger the better, right? If you get to stand like in the middle. Me? Yeah. Okay. See, so you stand behind the check.
Usually that's
and just smile.
There we go.
Yeah. So Jack, in case you didn't see it, the check is for $172,485.53. So we're hoping
We should buy a lot of green chili. Even kids and homeless people deserve green chili. This is New Mexico after all.
And I'm so grateful for this wonderful gift. 1 in 3 children in New Mexico experience hunger. 1 in 3 children experience hunger. The Food Depot and our wonderful supporters like George and Parris and Prizeo help us do what we do every day, and that is make sure that we put food on the table for families in need. The Food Depot is the food bank that serves most of northern New Mexico. We actually serve 9 counties. And as a food bank, we work through nonprofit food programs. So we supply food to emergency food pantries, to soup kitchens, to shelters. Parris mentioned the Boys and Girls Club, so lots of youth programs, daycare centers, senior centers, you name it. We're working currently with about 145 programs in 9 counties in northern New Mexico. This gift, this most amazing, very generous gift, will help us provide nearly 700,000 meals for people in need in northern New Mexico. And I thank thank you both from the bottom of my heart. I feel like you're family at this point. Thank you so very much for your generosity and your kind, kind spirit. Thank you so very much.
So, thank you. That's an amazing number of meals. So, that's incredible. And thank all you guys for the work you do in feeding hunger here. So, Parris, come on back. And our association with the Wild Spirit goes back also to the 90s or to the 90s? Okay, right, yes. And actually began with my fans, in particular a group of fans called the Brotherhood Without Banners, who were my earliest fan club, and now the biggest, but great people from all over the country who would attend conventions and party with us and write me letters about the books. And back in the early days, they also used to send us Christmas gifts. And it was very nice of them, but some of them were students, some of them were working minimum wage jobs, and they were donating money to buy gifts for Parris and me, and I would say, you're buying my books. That's really enough of a gift. I get a lot of money from that, and you don't have to, put up for a gift, but they wanted to give us gifts, so we finally said, why don't you just donate the money to a charity instead of actually, trying to buy me a watch or a tie or something like that. And they took that to heart. And the next year, Parris, and they knew Parris and her great love of animals, got made a wolf mother. So it was the fans who found the Wild Spirit Wolf Sanctuary and brought her a wolf mother. Tell them about Sasquatch.
Sasquatch was one of the animals at the sanctuary at the time. He's crossed the Rainbow Bridge, of course, but he just seemed to have a really great personality, and he had gone through some tough times physically, and so I got to choose my wolf, and I chose Sasquatch. And for several years, the bros continued to make donations, and then eventually I took it over. And we got to have a few conversations with Leyton and a few members of his staff, and we visited, and we told them several years ago that if they ever had an animal come in that didn't have a name, that we would be delighted to name it after one of George's characters in hopes that would get fans to support that animal. And then Leyton and Wild Spirit rescued a pack of wolves from the Midwest who were being kept in terrible conditions and no medical care, small cells they were living in, and only one of them they really knew the name of. So our Westeros pack is a group of animals who were rescued and who have been brought to health and safety after years of neglect. And we love each and every one of them very dearly. And if you ever want to get me a Christmas present, support one of the wolves of the Westeros pack. And so, this prize campaign has brought a lot of awareness to these two things that George and I both love. And for me, the work that Wild Spirit does with education, with telling people about why wolves are wonderful creatures and why it's a bad idea to keep them as a pet, and to care for animals who have been neglected and who we can't release into the wild. So I just want to say thank you to all of the folks who have supported Wild Spirit in these years. And Leyton, come on up and we'll give you a big check.
Here we go.
I want to go cash it.
Turn it all into a Purina Wolf Chow.
Well, that's awesome. I can't even begin to thank Parris and George enough for just everything. They've just spent the last couple of months blowing my mind. But also thanks to the Prizeo, Leo and who else did I talk to?
Probably many people.
Yeah, you know, just everybody at Prizeo, because it was a brilliant idea. I'm so grateful that they were already supporters of ours, and that we got picked to be a part of this amazing thing. And all of us, I know Parris, I know Dawn, our social media lady, all of us at Wild Spirit worked hard to just keep promoting through social media this Prizeo campaign. So I can just say a gazillion, million thank yous to both of you for having us in your hearts and your minds. And if the Food Depot is anything like us, it's spent already. It's already been designated before it arrived. And I told my new bookkeeper the other day, I said, did I really sign enough checks to pay off all our bills? She's like, yeah, you paid them off. I thought, it doesn't feel like I paid every bill off, because we've had these lingering bills of nearly $50,000 for the last year just hanging over our heads, driving me crazy. But now at least those bills are paid off, and then we'll also be able to hopefully even buy a restroom. And the Westeros 5, Parris and George already donated their own money for the Westeros 4-pack habitat, which we already have purchased all those materials, and the Westeros 5 will be purchased in the next few weeks, along with perimeter fence. We have to build perimeter fence first before we build habitat. So. Yes. Just to keep USDA happy, but I'm totally beyond words at this point. Just a big hearty thank you and mega hugs. Thanks.
And here's our grand prize winner. Come on up here and say hi.
I'm Leyton. Good to meet you. Nice to meet you.
So this is the winner who chosen in a lottery, essentially, from all of the people who purchased tickets. And the prize, of course, was the trip to Santa Fe. And we're going to have dinner together. And then tomorrow we take a helicopter down to the wolf sanctuary. And that should be an interesting adventure. I hope we don't scare the wolves too much. Are they used to helicopters flying overhead?
Once in a while in some airplanes, but we got a brand new heliport put in the
cool.
campground. So
I'm the one that's scared about that.
Yeah. Why don't you say a few words here?
I am honored that this happened to me. I just can't believe it. And I was happy to donate. I'm glad that it's going to the cause. And I'm thrilled to be here with George. He's one of my favorite writers, so it's great. And it's the helicopter I'm worried about. Thank you.
It couldn't be a slow drive, right? Where are you from?
Where am I from?
Yes.
I'm from Los Angeles. That's why they picked me, because
It was around Democrat.
It's not a hot air balloon.
Yeah, balloon, you know, you might wind up in the wolf sanctuary, or you might wind up in Nebraska. So,
fate worse than death. Can I?
Yeah, absolutely. You've never been that close to a wolf before?
Not one like this. I'm from LA, so. Hi.
There's vampires on
Hi. Sweet. Wow.
Flurry, of course, is one of Leyton's ambassador wolves. They have, what do you have, 54 wolves or something like that?
53. Yeah.
53 wolves. And, what, 4 ambassadors or something like that? 5 ambassadors.
First wolf kiss?
The Westeros pack, you know, that we're building a habitat for are wilder and can't really come out to meet the public here.
He just kissed me.
Yes.
He just stuck his tongue in my mouth. He eats raw meat, right?
We call that exchanging DNA.
Is it?
Yeah, that's what we call it.
So I'm going to turn this over to Leo to close it out here, but before I do that, I just want to say, you know, thanks to everybody who contributed to this, everybody who made it such a wonderful success. I'm very pleased by this, and please don't stop now. You know, it's amazing how fast even $172,000 can disappear. Both of these groups will need more support next year and the year after, and the year after that. There will still be wolves and wolf dogs who will need care. There will still be hungry people in New Mexico. And also check out many of Prizeo's other auctions. They have lots of other things going on, great prizes, great causes, charities from all over the country and the world that are worthy of support.
And hopefully we'll do another one soon.
You folks know this, but just spread the message that doing good deeds is a hell of a lot of fun. And it makes your life and the life of your communities that much brighter. So go out and do a good deed today.